Hey folks, today we're going to take a look at this self-built e-bike, or more precisely, this motor, which is easy to install and has many advantages and only a few disadvantages compared to other e-bike kits. I've been building e-bikes for a little over 10 years with a wide variety of motors and power levels, including bikes with up to 4,000 watts, which were more motorcycles than e-bikes, and with which we definitely had a lot of fun. As you can clearly see in my older e-bike videos on this channel. To build them, I mostly use single components that require a lot of soldering and are more difficult and time-consuming to build. This gives you full control to get a good end result. But in recent years there have also been some recommendable and even a few good e-bike kits coming onto the market, which can be easily installed and offer still a lot for the money. And today we are looking at one of the best mid-range models that offers good value for money and can be ridden in the 750 to 1,600 watt range, depending on which version and which battery you choose. It is the BBSHD from powerfull. And we take a look at it on this bike setup here. I built it with a powerfull BBSHD motor and a sturdy carbon fiber frame from Scott. The BBSHD is rated as a 1,000 watt motor, but in my setup it delivers up to 1,600 peak, and more like 1,500 watt in continuous use. A strong gear system is important with this amount of power, but it doesn't have to cost much. I've been using the quite inexpensive X9 from SRAM for years now. It offers a good compromise between robustness and price. The battery pack I am using is from EM3. I replaced my old one about a year ago with this new high-power battery, and I am very happy with it. I have an additional connection for a backpack battery under the saddle, so I can remove the pack in the frame and make the bike lighter if I want to. That makes the bike feel even more agile for electric freeriding. I also have a suspension seat post under the saddle for even more comfort. The display I use is from Eggrider, which I can also recommend, as it gives you more setting options for the motor. I installed a half throttle as this is my favorite type of twist throttle and it is quite responsive. That was dumb. Now let's see how it rides. The bike weighs about 25 kilograms including the battery and motor. It's just light enough to do small bunny hops and the motor is still powerful enough to have a lot of fun with it. For my riding style, I only use thick downhill tires for more grip on gravel and in the forest. The motor gets the bike up to a top speed of about 55 kilometers per hour with the 14S lithium-ion battery from EM3, which I can highly recommend for high-power applications. I have made a separate video about it which I will link in the description. The motor is rated for 1,000 watt, but it can deliver a peak power of around 1,500 to 1,600, depending on the battery you use. I've been riding the bike as it is for about 6 years now. And apart from the wear parts, such as brake pads, chains, and rear sprockets, I haven't had to repair or replace anything major since. I would say that the BBSHD is more of a powerful motor for an everyday bike than it is a dedicated electric freeride motor. But the BBSHD is still powerful enough to have off-road fun with it, and even just enough to do some light drifting. But you really have to lean over the front wheel to do so. Apart from that, I strongly advise you not to do this, as it is poison for the motor's gears and you are guaranteed to destroy it that way. I only do it when I really want to show off. You can operate the motor either by using the throttle or by pedal assist. And since the BBSHD is a mid-drive, it also runs very smoothly, without the slight drag that would be the case with a hub motor build. The motor has a lot of power and runs very quietly. I would say it is the quietest mid-drive motor in this class. I can recommend this motor for people who want to ride by using throttle only, but it is also suitable for pedaling. However, it must be said that it only has a cadence sensor and no torque sensor. The pedal assist is therefore not quite as premium as with other setups that measure the pedaling strength. To ensure that the pedal assist still feels good, it is important to select the assist level correctly on the display and to adjust it regularly to the terrain you are riding on. Otherwise the motor will tend to ghost paddling. Ghost paddling means that the motor delivers more power than you are pedaling at, and you no longer support the motor with additional muscle power but just turn the crank without resistance, which then activates the motor. But this can also be quite useful in some cases. I mean, if you ever want to ride a longer distance hands-free without using any muscle power, if that is your thing. The motor is well suited for small to medium inclines. And it can also handle steep climbs well, just make sure you're riding in the right gear for that. Most of the time I only use the third smallest sprocket on the rear wheel, so the third fastest gear, which is still fine for slight inclines, and on a flat road it does around 50 km per hour, which is more than enough for daily business. If the support level is selected correctly, you can use your own muscle power to increase the range of your e-bike. If I support the motor by pedaling, I have ridden up to 60 km with it. But normally, I ride the bike by throttle alone. And I only use the pedal assist for starting and to support on very steep climb. With my battery, I can ride about 20 km at full power and only using the throttle. Even high-quality batteries can get hot at 1,500 watts of power if they are not designed for that high discharge currents. This will result in a rapid reduction in the lifespan of the battery. So always pay attention to this and, if necessary, ask the dealer whether the battery is designed for this type of constant load. If you want to see what kind of battery I use for e-bikes like this, you can watch this video here, where I go into more detail about the performance characteristics of a good e-bike battery and introduce you to this battery that I use for such applications from 1,500 up to 2,500 watts. The motor together with the battery, a standard display, a throttle and small parts costs about $1,000. If you have a little more money in your budget, I recommend buying a few upgraded parts. The most important upgrade would be a better chainring, which also improves the chain line, as this is not particularly good with the original part, and it could happen that the chain does not shift well and can also fall off the crank and wear out more quickly. One option is the chainring from Lekkie, which is very popular but has a high price tag. It works great and lasts a really long time. At the moment I'm trying out this cheaper alternative from Aliexpress. It looks practically identical, but only costs a third of the price. As you can see here, it even has alternating thicker and narrower teeth. I'll put the links to both chainrings in the description. So far I'm very happy with it. Let's see if it lasts as long as the original from Lekkie. The Eggrider Display is another upgrade I can recommend. Many parameters can be set and it can be connected to a smartphone via Bluetooth to make even more adjustments. This makes it possible for me to adapt the bike to all kinds of road traffic laws. And if you're on private land, you can use the full power that this motor can deliver at the touch of a button. I'll also include a link to this in the description. However, the display is so small that I can't see all the data at a quick look, especially when I'm riding on bumpy roads. But if this bothers you, you can use your smartphone as a display via the app. With a power of 1,500 watts, you have to make sure that your bike is stable enough. I chose a high-quality enduro bike from Scott. As I said, the bike is already about 7 years old and the motor is about 6 years old. So far, everything has held up well and I ride it almost every day. So I can highly recommend this motor for someone who wants to build a slightly more powerful e-bike. However, if this is too much power for you, you can install a BBSHD motor instead, which is just a little smaller and delivers 250 to 750 watts of power depending on the setup. However, the BBSHD is too weak for electric freeriding. By that I mean a motocross-like feeling with a powerful e-bike. And even the BBSHD reaches its limits when used with the throttle in difficult terrain. If you want an e-bike that has even more power and with which you can plow through the forest, I have a video here about the CYC X1 motor, which is somewhat better suited for this. This motor can be run at over 2,500 watts and is my preferred motor for electric freeriding, but on the other hand it is louder and less problem-free than the BBSHD. If this motor appeals to you more, you can find a coupon code in the video description to get it a little cheaper. But because the BBSHD is also a mid-drive motor, and the power of the motor can be used on all gears, it's a great all-rounder, with enough power for any climb and more than enough speed, at least for my liking. And I'm not a particularly slow guy. It's also one of the quietest mid-drives out there, which makes it more stealth than others. The price is very good for what you get, also the installation is pretty easy and if you keep it well treated, it is very durable. A torque sensor would have been nice and besides its weight, it's a bit heavier than others. The BBSHD will still be the best choice for a good all-rounder, because he does so many things right. Whereas other motors in this category are more prone to failure, louder and simply less suitable for everyday use. And if you want to find out more about the topic of e-bike conversions, you can check out my homepage. On electricfreeride.com you will find lots of useful tips and everything you need to know to convert your bike into an electric freeride bike. The site is currently still under construction, and I've just finished writing the first article about this motor, in case you need more information than this video provides. And many more articles, tips and tutorials will be uploaded in the near future. So check it out if you like. I put the link in the description. That's it for today. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you have any questions, please ask them in the comments. I'll try to answer them all. Feel free to subscribe to the channel to not miss another video. I promise, next time will be better. And I'll see you there.